All right. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning, Wayne.
Good morning, Mike.
Hi, Wayne.
Trying to wake up, Mike.
How you doing? You already pissed off by the Nats and what's going on in the political situation in the world?
Yeah, I'm really just ticked off about how we're trying to protect our candidates. Really, I don't think they're doing a very good job.
So if it was Biden, would you be reacting the same way?
No, it wouldn't be hard to protect him. He's sleeping in an office somewhere.
Okay, right. But what I'm saying is that
He is.
You said our candidates, and then really you're only talking about Trump.
No, I said candidates. I said
Right.
Trump and Harris and whoever, Waltz and Vance and
Whoever they are.
you know.
I don't even know. I don't even pay attention that much. I have that much apathy towards it. I honestly do. So anyway,
Here she is.
Housekeeping.
Housekeeping.
he will stop the show whenever Kathy walks in.
Yep. That's it.
You know, he knows her entire schedule.
I
don't know.
I text you.
No, I'm talking about.
No.
I know, but I text you.
Keep going, Kathy. You're right on.
Keep going which way?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
So anyway, all right. So let's get into what we.
The sunglasses
into.
today. Rough night.
No,
Rough RTC meeting.
no.
So let me know when you're done, and we'll.
Go for it.
We're all set.
Okay. All right. I have to check with them. I want to see permission.
Well, you got to check with the bosses, right?
Yeah.
We've trained him well. It works.
So Lee Walter is here from the Sea Unicorns, general manager. What's going on, Lee?
Oh, just adapting to off-season life again. The season is such a grind for those 12, 13 weeks. And, you'll go from working 90 to 100 hours a week to roughly 50 right now. And then still got some fall ball stuff going on at the stadium, field work still to be done. But, we're going to start gearing up for 2025 here pretty soon.
I know that during the season when we were there, the thing about that impressed me the most is that you are so dialed in. It's like nothing's going on around you but baseball. So we would be talking about you while you're like doing the field, right? And I would just say, look at this dude. He just loves baseball. So is that what really drives you? Is like your love for the game, or?
Love for the game certainly is one aspect of it, but love for what we do as an organization. It's it's part baseball, it's part entertainment. And, obviously it was a big challenge losing the minor league affiliation status when we did and dropping down to the Summer Collegiate Baseball League, which has been awesome. The schedule's great. It's, late May to early to mid-August. Yeah. And, we get to continue providing entertainment for people of Southeastern Connecticut and, put together a great program for 40 to 60 college players who come and play for us during the summer. And obviously we've had a lot of success the last couple of years, so it's all working the way I hoped it would.
So this last year, obviously was your second year in a row being the Futures League champion. Mm-hmm. How was attendance this year over last year?
Attendance was actually pretty much the same. Yeah, it was flat, which is probably good these days.
That's a win.
Yeah, as long as you're not losing people. But what was good was revenues were up overall. So parking did better. And this was a lot to do with the staff too. But, the more organized you are, the better you are at getting things done. Parking was up, which means more cars are paying when they come in. And concessions were up. And some of that is price increases, of course. Cost of goods is going up across the board as we go to the grocery store every day. But, even though attendance was flat, revenues were up, and obviously winning baseball is helping bring people out too.
Absolutely, absolutely. So there was a big concern for a while that this was it, the 30th year, which was this year, that there was going to be no more baseball at Dodd Stadium.
Dodd Stadium has been there for 30 years already?
Yeah.
I remember when they built that. Oh, God, I feel old. Wow, 30 years?
Yeah.
Okay, you just blew my mind.
Season-long celebration this summer of the 30th season of Dodd Stadium.
Wow.
Yeah. 30 years. 30
I
years.
remember when they started it with the, what was it, the Navigators?
The Navigators, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I feel sick to my stomach. Oh my God. Jesus. That went by quick.
Yeah. I mean, I was a freshman at Eastern when that place
Wow.
opened, and to now be running the place for the city is
I
just
was a teenager.
unbelievable.
Now, you started off being a grounds crewman, right?
No. I
Started out as general manager, right?
no, I didn't start off as general manager either. But
I'm in charge now.
no, so going back to the 2016 season of the Connecticut Tigers, I was working in the press box part time. I was doing their live data stringing, so I'd sit next to the official score, and whenever a play happened, I was the one that fed it into the internet for people to see as they were following along the play-by-play. And over 3 seasons of doing that, I got to know the guys there better and started helping out a little bit on the field with some pregame prep work. And in late summer 2018, CJ Knudsen, who was the senior vice president of the team at the time, we happened to be standing next to each other when we were pulling the tarp off the field one day, and he asked me about my sales background because I had been in sales for a lot of years prior to losing a position that I had, and they happened to be looking for a new salesperson for the front office. So we got together after the season, Dave Skirmerhorn, GM at the time, and CJ and myself, and had some conversations. And in November of 18, I got hired as business development manager. And my job was to help increase sponsorship and group sales. So, fast forward through the 2019 season, we're having the new Name the Team contest for the team, but we're also hearing rumors about the possibility of Major League Baseball taking over minor league baseball and dropping 40-something teams. Mm-hmm. We were on the rumored list for teams to potentially be dropped. And, so we go ahead with the name change to Sea Unicorns, and then COVID hits and stops the world. And Major League Baseball had their opportunity to really jump in there and follow through with their plan. And unfortunately, we were one of the 42 teams dropped. And, so then through the rest of COVID and heading into the spring of 2021, we weren't really sure what was going to happen. Some people started to leave for other jobs just to protect themselves.
People that worked for
the Tigers front office or then Sea Unicorns front office. But our ownership was great. They kept us all on board instead of laying us off, which was good because that showed me that they wanted to keep playing. It's just a matter of where we were going to play. Yep. And late April of 21, we decided to join the Futures League. 2 days later, our groundskeeper, who had been there for a lot of years as both assistant and head groundskeeper, had accepted a job with the Worcester Red Sox to be their assistant groundskeeper. Mm-hmm. And so because I was the only one that knew anything about taking care of the field, I started taking care of the field while I was still supposed to be doing my sales job. Right. And here we are 4 years later, and I'm still overseeing most of the field work because we can't find a groundskeeper who will take that job full time.
And running the place.
Yeah, and running the place. And, obviously I credit to the staff that we have. We've been able to build it back up to what are now 5 full-time people, including myself. Mm-hmm. And I couldn't do it without them because obviously if I'm down on the field, I need to rely on the rest of the staff to be making sure tickets are being sold, making sure groups are being taken care of, making sure that the staff is in place for concessions and parking and ushers. And so I always deflect a lot of the credit that gets thrown my way to the staff because I can't do it without them.
And I'm thinking it changes every year, the staff.
Well, the full-time staff is pretty consistent. We've had a couple people leave and hired some new people, but the part-time staff, there's a lot of turnover there every year. We get in concessions especially, we get a lot of 16, 17-year-old kids getting their first job ever, and then they might find something else and not be able to come back the following summer. So in the part-time staff, there's definitely a lot of turnover from year to year, but we have some people that are pretty consistently with us too.
What about so let's just before we get into a couple other things, tell us about Heather.
Yeah,
so Heather, she's your assistant.
Yeah,
GM
Heather Bartlett. I joke all the time that she comes with the stadium now. She 30 years ago was a 16-year-old first-time job at the concession stands at Dodd Stadium when the Navigators got started, and she kept doing that, and eventually was hired full-time by at the time that. I don't know if they were still the Navigators or if it was already the Defenders at that point. Then when the Defenders
that was
left,
the Giants, right?
Yep. So the Defenders were the Giants affiliate. Yep. And then when that team left for Richmond, Virginia, and this team came in from Oneonta, New York, She got hired by them to continue running concessions and merchandise. And then when I got promoted to GM in January of 22, she got promoted to assistant GM. And so I really do joke about it, but it's kind of true. Like if any other team ever were to come in, she probably is going to work for them too, because she just comes with the stadium at this point. But she does a lot for us. She handles a lot of our human resource type stuff and banking type stuff, and still oversees concessions and merchandise, and helps oversee tickets. And I definitely couldn't be doing it without her there for sure.
I heard you say it before.
Yeah, she was. We were the only two left. At one point, Dave Skirmahorn was the last one to leave before us, and we were the only two left. And maybe that's why we got promoted through attrition. But I think we've done a pretty good job of running this organization. The last
it's amazing. Like when I first showed up there and everything, to see how many people were actually there, I'm like, how do y'all do this? This is like a big stadium, for crying out loud. This is no joke. There's like 3 of you. I only saw 3 at the time, and then I was really like, well, people are going to be here. Are they all going to work at the concession stand too? And all of a sudden, all these people started showing up with Sea Unicorn shirts on. So it was pretty good. Why did they take out? Why did Major League Baseball? What's the real reason they took out, not just out of Norwich, but of all the stadiums?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of reasons, I think, and definitely money is a large issue there.
Well, I had heard that the reason is because 10% of these players are never even going to make it to either double or triple A. So I don't know.
That was part of their thinking. There's certain organizations out there. The Yankees had 7 or 8 minor league teams because they could afford to have that many extra players on payroll. But then there were teams, like the Astros and the Cardinals, who, while they could maybe afford it, they wanted to start streamlining things. And, so a lot of it was, okay, there's X amount of players.
Couldn't do it.
Yeah, X amount of players are never going to get there. So why do we basically hire them to fill roster space? And so they basically wanted to streamline it to where every organization could have 120 players at affiliated minor league spots. So that's your low A, your high A, your double A, and your triple A now. So each organization has 4 teams. Then they have their places at their spring training complexes where they have some more players stashed. And then they have the Dominican academies and this. So they still have a lot of players under contracts, right? But what they wanted to do was stop having so many affiliated spots. And also Major League Baseball wanted to see more amenities at the stadium for these players. They want to be able to pay them a little more. But the amenities, and when I say amenities, we're talking, gone are the days of just having a square locker room for these guys. You now have to have lounge space, kitchen space for a chef to come in and cook, space for them to actually eat so they're not just sitting on a stool at their locker eating. Mm-hmm. You have to have batting cages for both teams, indoor pitching mounds for both teams, weight rooms for both teams, and the list goes on. I mean, female locker space for coaches that are on the staff now, female umpire space, and most stadiums across the country can't handle that, and you look at Dodd Stadium and there's not a lot of space to build more of that stuff at Dodd Stadium without taking the parking lot away. So while it could be done, it would take an act of some severe engineering to get that done. And so that was another thing that they looked at, was what kind of condition are these stadiums in, and could they ultimately have all of these amenities for these teams going forward. And we're actually starting to see some of that now. Of the 120 teams that stayed, Myrtle Beach is a prime example. I just read an article the other day. They may lose their team because they don't have a plan in place yet to have all of those amenities at their stadium, which is now 25 years old also. So they may lose their team, and there's other cities like that may start losing their teams too. And now the question becomes, where do they go? Because they've already eliminated places like Dodd Stadium for not having the amenities.
So that's why it's the amenities. It's not so much.
That's part of it. I mean, there's a lot of reasons for it. And money is a big factor, because for years and years and years, minor leaguers got paid practically nothing. And while they're still not getting paid great, they're getting paid better now because there's less players under contract, so they can afford to pay more to the players.
So I don't know how I want to craft this question without it sounding, well, they all sound stupid for anything coming from me, but do you have anything or? Nope. Okay.
No, so
Um,
you're good through 25 now, right?
Yes. So at the All-Star game that we hosted this year, the mayor pregame announced that we were going to be there for the 2025 season. So our ownership and the city are actually finalizing that particular lease at this point. So we know we're there for at least one more year. Is it tough to be there for only one more year? Absolutely. As Mike alluded to, there was a lot of worry all season long about, are we going to be here? Are we going to be here? And it's tough to work on a 1-year agreement, but that's where the city's at right now. And so we just got to deal with it. And the hope is that we can secure something a little more long-term. I know ownership is still interested in that, and we'll see what happens.
so I know that people, I think there's a stigma that since there's no major league affiliation, that it's A, not good baseball, B, not fun, or anything like that. None of that is true. I mean, I know for myself, I actually became a fan of the Sea Unicorns. And then, I mean, I would be, because I ran one of the cameras. I wasn't on a headset at all, pretty much at all. And I'm like, yeah. And I got my old OGs sitting around with me and stuff like that. And I became a pretty big fan, knew the players, and just, it was pretty exciting. I never thought I would, but now I know. It's like, why didn't I? So that's one of the things. But I guess the question past that is there a chance that maybe minor league baseball comes back at some point, or is that, I mean, to me, it doesn't matter. And I think anybody that goes would realize it doesn't matter.
Yeah,
but
it's still baseball.
It's still baseball. And it's still funny. Like Lisa, it's entertainment too.
Yeah.
The things they do in between innings and stuff like that.
Yep.
So I went to a couple games when Griswold was there, and see the high school players play. I mean,
Yeah.
you're seeing at that level, you're seeing kids playing the game because they love it. It's not for the money, and they're hustling to try to get to that next level. I mean, it's nice and refreshing to see kids out there, playing their heart out for something that they love, and it's not all about. I mean, I watch Major League Baseball, and it's like you see these guys hustling down first base.
Yeah.
But these kids are all over the place trying to do what they can to get to that next opportunity.
Well, the players like from the Sea Unicorns, like what I had found out, and I had no idea because I didn't, is that a lot of these kids they come from all over the country. They stay with host families, and I was talking. I got to talk to a lot of like parents, and there was this one kid from Kansas or around there, or he went to he goes to K-State. His coach said, check out, you should go to the Futures League. And that's how he ended up with the Sea Unicorns and stuff like that. A couple people from California, how they get here and stuff. So it's not like it's just like, hey, Fred.
Right. It's not like your local.
Yeah. There's still, so anyway, back to the question. Is there some sort of possibility that minor league or Major League Baseball will reaffiliate?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's always a chance, right? Again, a lot of it would depend on upgrades to Dodd Stadium or potentially a new stadium in the area being built to match all the amenities that they're looking for. So, those are expensive propositions and maybe long shots. But, Major League Baseball has gone on record as saying that once the Tampa Bay Rays and the Oakland A's figure out their stadium situations, that they are going to look into expansion. And expansion means more minor league teams too. And so, let's say, for example, that, and I don't think the A's are ever going to end up in Las Vegas, but let's say that they do, and the Rays are now building a new stadium as well. So let's say those stadium situations are as set as they appear to be, and they start looking at expansion. Well, I think that Nashville and Salt Lake City or, somebody like that are great spots to potentially land expansion teams. Well, those
Major
cities,
league teams.
Major league teams. And those cities already have minor league teams that would now probably have to move. So that's 2 teams looking for a new place to play. And then they each need 4 minor league teams to fill their levels out. So, right off the bat, there are potentially 10 new minor league teams that are needed. Also, as we talked about already with the Myrtle Beach situation, there are several cities that could potentially lose their affiliations because of not being able to get their stadiums ready. Who steps up? Who gets ready? Who's closer to being ready? So I think there's always a chance. And I know the city officials want to explore those possibilities. And also even independent pro ball, which is an expensive proposition for a team owner, because now you're responsible for paying for the players' salaries, the workman's comp insurance, and all that for the players. I mean, that's a huge budget buster right there for a lot of cities trying to do independent ball. New Britain did that before they joined the Futures League. They tried their hand at independent ball, and it was successful for maybe a year and a half before it wasn't. And then suddenly they decided to drop down to the collegiate summer level as well. Our owners looked into professional independent ball. Now, I don't know what the reasons were for choosing collegiate summer over professional independent. But, I think it's worked out really well for us. And, getting back to your point about the stigma earlier, yes, that stigma really did exist. I heard it a lot in 2021 and even 2022 when we first joined this league. And, I just challenged people to keep coming and tell me the difference, because we were already planning to continue doing all of those in-game promos, the things that you're used to seeing at minor league baseball games. We were going to continue doing that regardless of where we were at. And for me, and this is no knock on the pro guys, right? It's their job once they've signed a contract. But these college kids, they're up on the dugout railing. They're cheering on their teammates. They're getting excited for every play. There's a lot of banter back and forth. Sometimes it crosses lines, but there's a lot of banter. You don't hear that in minor league baseball.
That's fun. You kind of want.
Are we talking about a doubleheader against the Bees on a rainy night?
There's a lot of things that happen, but it's college ball. I mean, you go to any college game, go to a UConn game, go to Eastern, and you hear a lot of that talk between the benches.
Yeah.
And you don't hear as much of that in minor league ball. You don't see the players up on the railing cheering on their teammates. They're sitting in a dugout and they're trying to do their job.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you, these kids, and the minor league guys were great about signing autographs, but these kids, I have a hard time getting them off the field.
Yeah.
Because they're signing so many autographs for the kids, especially on a fireworks night. Per fire marshal, we have to clear the field completely. And so the last thing I'm doing every time is saying to the last 3 or 4 guys on the team, like, listen, dude, I love that you're signing autographs, but I need you to get off the field, please. I got to do the fireworks. So it's great. And I think the fans are realizing that. And obviously winning helps too. We saw a huge increase in attendance in 2023 as the season wore on because we were starting to win. And then this year attendance was pretty much steady all year long because we had won and then won again.
Yeah. Kevin Trahan says, "Welcome, Lee."
Hello, Kevin.
I just so to me, I was concerned really when I started becoming a fan. I was like, crap, is this going to be here next year? Then I started feeling bad. And I wanted to ask you all the time, but I'm like, I can't. So I talked to Neville. Have you guys heard anything? Have you heard anything? No, man, I don't know. And then all of a sudden when it was announced, I felt like, oh, this is so cool.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, it was pretty emotional that day. We already had put in so much work to host the All-Star game, and our principal owner came into town and met with the city manager and the mayor in the morning. I couldn't go to that meeting because of trying to get the field ready, of course.
Yep.
And so the owner called me right after the meeting and told me that we were there for 25. And I had to keep it a secret all day from everybody. And because the mayor wanted to come and announce this. And so it was one of those things where I'm like, oh, thank goodness I know we're here, but I couldn't tell anybody. so pregame, we get down on the field and the mayor's there with me, and I get the microphone and I introduce the mayor, and I said, the mayor's got an announcement he wants to make. And so when he made it, it was just like, oh,
yeah,
it was such a relief. And like I said, pretty emotional because I hated the idea that my staff might not have jobs anymore.
Yeah.
It was bad enough that I might not have a job, but I hated that my staff might not have jobs. And not just the full-timers, but all the part-timers who, whether they were only there this year or had been there for years, and then the fans, what do you do if you're not there? So I was really, really happy that we were able to at least get the 1 year extension. And then, we'll see what happens. I'm hoping that back-to-back championships makes it that much harder for the city to
repeat,
shut it down, and certainly, we'll see what happens.
You look like you were going to say something.
Yeah, I just have a question. So do you know why only a 1-year extension? What's the city planning? I mean, do they have something in mind for that?
So the city has recommended the possible sale of the property, and they are not worried about whether it stays open as a baseball stadium or becomes, some
Something
big
else.
box warehouse type thing.
They just don't want to own it anymore.
They really don't want to own it, and part of that is it's 30 years old. I mean, there's a lot of things that need to be looked at. There's cracks in places that create safety issues, stuff like that. So I won't get into the whole list of what's going on, but that is what the recommendation from the city manager has been at this point. Where they're at in that process, I really have no idea. So we're just gonna keep doing our thing, and I'm gonna stay there until they tell me I can't be there anymore at this point. And
even then, still stay.
Yeah.
Well, maybe.
Hell no,
We'll see.
we won't go.
We'll see.
Attica.
So, and my other question was for like all the other additional facilities that would be needed, all the kitchens and the gyms and all that. Could that be off-site but still in close proximity?
No, it has to be at the stadium.
on-site.
Yeah. So
next to the locker room.
yeah. So not being an engineer, but being somebody who's like creative, my thoughts are this. Can you get an engineer in there who can see how safe it would be to dig underground, underneath the seats of the stadium, right? Go underground, see what you can build there, if anything. And then beyond that, can you go up? We have that flat roof above the locker rooms and the concession stands now. Can we go up to help build some of those amenities? Because the problem is if we start expanding outward, we're losing parking. And already on a Friday night fireworks, we don't have enough parking because Norwich Public Utilities has taken over that third lot for their poles and everything. So we don't even have that third lot access anymore. We had a couple of fireworks nights this year where we started parking people on the grass on both sides of the parking lot, and we literally ran out of room for parking. And so
they were in left field, right field.
We might have to at some point.
Yeah.
It's a good problem to have, but the last thing I want to do either is I don't want to start using parking lots of our neighbors.
Right.
We've got the blood distributor across the street. We've got the Hartford Healthcare. I can go to them and say, hey, if we run into this problem, can we use?
Right.
But I don't want to do that without talking to them ahead of time. And we're getting to that point now where I might have to do that.
Yeah.
So.
Wow. Yeah, because I was thinking you have the gym in the industrial park.
Right.
I didn't know if maybe you could have some kind of affiliation with the gym.
And we actually did. I mean, we have a small weight room at the stadium, but we did also have a partnership with that gym back in the day, where the players could go there and work out if they wanted to for some extra type stuff. Our
it
gym
would
is
make sense.
very
It's right
small.
there.
Yeah.
And so that part would probably be the easiest fix, but the kitchen and all that other stuff is just, it's tough. It's very tough.
Most importantly, though, 2025 season tickets available yet?
Yes, season ticket deposits are being taken. We haven't finalized all of the amenities and what they're going to actually cost at the end of the day because we're waiting on a schedule.
Yep.
But we are taking deposits, $50, $100, whatever, and that way you can secure your seats. And we're excited. I'm leaving here to go down, and we're going to have our first staff meeting of the new year where we're going to review 2024, and then we're going to start kicking around ideas for 2025.
I knew you had a meeting. That's why I keep looking at the time here. So
don't worry about that.
I just think it's great. I mean, you know why? Wayne, we talked about it before. It's like, if the Sea Unicorns leave or the baseball in general, just go. What's Norwich got? As far as entertainment anymore, like it's all just kind of trickling away. This is like the last big thing.
All you got is high school sports.
Yeah, and unfortunately, they wouldn't have access to Dodd Stadium anymore.
Yeah.
And that's one of the reasons I want to keep it open too. I mean,
because it's used for other things, not just
a
baseball team.
I grew up in Waterbury, and Municipal Stadium in Waterbury is nothing like Dodd Stadium, but it was a former minor league stadium, and whenever we got to play there, it was a big thrill.
A big deal,
and, so I love having those 30 to 40 or more high school games at Dodd in the spring. I love having travel ball throughout the year, and it's just to see the kids and even the parents when they show up, they maybe have never been there, or, seeing their kids on a field like that for the first time. And it's tough because I don't like to let parents on the field, but they all want to get down there and take pictures of their kids on the field. And I understand it, but obviously we're looking at it from a safety perspective when we ask them to stay off. But, I'd hate to see that part of it go away too. I really would love to see the stadium stay open long-term, and, younger kids still get a chance to play on that field as well, and not just, see Unicorns baseball.
What's the possibility of the scoreboard getting reusable?
I mean, I would say, right now that's kind of low on the priority list.
Does it not work? What's the?
So our scoreboard itself works, but the video board hasn't worked in a few years.
Gotcha.
And so, in a perfect world, we'd be able to have a brand new video board that also doubles as the scoreboard, as most minor. And that's actually one of the minor league things now too, is, they have to have a board like that. We would have needed an upgrade on our scoreboard if we were to continue in professional baseball. And so, in a perfect world, we would be able to get one of those video boards that doubles as a scoreboard as well, to be able to show more of the graphics, more videos, things like that. But it's, for what we're at right now, I think it's pretty low on the priority list for what we need to get done.
Why the name Sea Unicorns?
So I know I've told this story before on this show, and that's okay. I'll tell it again. Okay. But in 2019, when we were going through the process, we worked with a company called Brandios. They're based out of San Diego, and they have probably worked with more than half of the current minor league teams in some way, shape, or form. And what they do is great. They come out, and they meet with the team. As far as the front office personnel, they meet with local business leaders, city officials, season ticket holders, fans. They do some research about the area. And when they came out and visited with us, two things stuck out to them. One was the old textile mills in the area, and that led to one of the name possibilities of mill mules, the mule being the machine that the textiles were worked on.
That's kind of cool. I like that.
Yeah, that was one of my favorites when we were doing the process. But the other thing that stuck out to them, and it stuck out even more, was the shipping industry and how the marina, feeding the Tims and down into the Sound and out to the ocean, and all the sea captains' houses that were in downtown and are still marked as far as who lived there. And, the tales that they would tell as they came back. And, so they started thinking more about sea life and what have you. And a narwhal is still a hot animal at this point. Yeah. People love the narwhal. And it was one of those things where it was like, okay, yeah, we can go narwhals. And everybody wanted narwhals in a way because of the alliteration, narwhals. Yeah. But that wasn't the direction of minor league baseball team names at that point. You think about the Hartford Yard Goats.
Yep.
What the heck is a yard goat?
I thought that was bizarre too.
Do you know what a yard goat is?
Yeah, it's something to do with the railroad stuff or something. Yeah.
And honestly, as great as that tale is for Hartford, Hartford was no different than any other city in any other state that had a railroad system.
Yeah.
Right.
So really, how did that identify there? But you could say the same thing about the Sea Unicorns in Norwich, right? Yes, our sea captains would go out to sea and they'd tell tales about seeing this. Because you think about it, the narwhal is typically only in Arctic waters. Yeah. So you had to go that far north to see them. Mm-hmm. And so narwhals are also nicknamed the unicorn of the sea because of their tusk. Yeah. And so obviously Norwich unicorn of the sea doesn't really flow well. Yeah. So we just kind of inverted it, and sea unicorns became one of the options. And so ultimately we had 5 options. We had the 3 I mentioned: sea unicorns, narwhals, mill mules. Salty dogs was also one because sea captains are obviously called salty dogs. But salty dogs came with a lot of legal potential because there are clothing lines and restaurants and what have you that are called salty dogs. And
the salty dog.
Exactly. Yeah. And then the last one was Golden Roses, which tied in Norwich being the Rose of New England. Yeah. And also the fact that they said that in the 1800s, Norwich was such a rich city that the roads were actually paved in gold. So we kind of tied those two together. And then we put it out to vote. Yep. And Sea Unicorns ultimately was chosen as the name. And that's the story. Gotcha. But, as soon as we announced it and released that logo, yes, we still get a lot of complaints about YC unicorns, but the yard goats still got to get a lot of complaints about why yard goats. The yard goats are still one of the top 5 selling merchandise in all of minor league baseball.
It's marketing genius, man, if you think about it.
And when we announced our name, we very quickly became one of the top selling hats in professional baseball at the time. And we still sell a lot of merchandise, so say what you want about the name, the logo kills it, and everybody loves it. So I don't care if they don't like the name or not. They're still paying money to wear the stuff.
I remember Scott Fryer the very first time, he had heard about it. He was on the show. And he goes, "Did you hear the name?" And I went, "No, I didn't hear it yet." He goes, "It's the unicorns." He goes, "Let's effing go." He goes, "It's amazing." He goes, it's just, I already ordered. He had to pre-order his hat.
Yeah.
And he goes, "I can't wait till I get it."
Yeah, we
it sounds just like that.
we put a map together in the office to show how many states we were delivering merchandise to, and within the first month or two, we hit 48 of the 50 states.
Nice.
Yeah, it didn't take long, which was awesome.
Here's a little trivia question for you: a narwhal, the tusk or the you know what that is? Actually, I believe I know.
Like you're asking, like what it's made out of?
What is it actually? Is it really just
some kind of cartilage tusk? Or something? I don't know.
I believe it's a tooth.
It is a tooth.
Oh, it's a tooth.
It is.
Yeah.
Yep. They use it to stab their food and then eat it from there.
Yeah. Huh.
Yeah. Well,
and they can grow up. They can grow to be 5 feet long or more. Those tusks, which is just scary to me.
Yeah.
I'm not swimming up there.
No, I'm not swimming up there, but still, I couldn't imagine. I mean, if you're on a small enough boat, what kind of damage could that potentially do to the boat?
Oh, yeah.
So,
any new teams in the Futures League this year? Is it still the same?
So there's still a lot of things behind the scenes being looked at. We know for sure that we'll be at least a 6-team league. We're hoping to be an 8-team league. Obviously, we're looking to add more teams all the time, but it's a process because you not only have to identify a location, but you have to identify an owner-operator, and they got to get a lease together with that location. So it takes some time, and we're hoping to have some definitive answers come October when we have our league meetings for the start of the year.
Because you have to put a schedule together.
Yeah, and we'll get a schedule together. We've actually already talked about that. So we created a scheduling committee and a rules committee for the league this year. I volunteered to be on both. Scheduling wise, we're going to create 6 and 8 team schedules just in case. And then that way, when we know more, and we could, by having those schedules in place, we can at least start selling against them, even if they're not publicly announced. And it buys us some time to kind of finalize some agreements with some potential locations and whatnot, and then we'll kind of figure it out from there. But we do know that we're planning to play 62 games again, so 31 at home. And, we're going to start just after Memorial Day this year. Memorial Day is actually a little early this year, which kind of benefits us in a way, because then we can start just after the holiday and still play into early to mid-August to finish our season. So should be really good. Obviously, the toughest thing and the main difference between our last 10 years as a minor league team versus this league, we used to start around Father's Day in the minors and go through Labor Day. So, we didn't have a lot of school issues at the beginning of the year and would start with some school issues at the end, but at least we were finishing on a holiday weekend. Now, starting around Memorial Day, we're still dealing with 2, 3, maybe even 4 weeks of local schools being in session, and it's hard to draw fans except on Friday nights, especially with the fireworks, or to a certain degree the rest of the weekend. But
I never would have thought that.
And so then we run into graduation parties, and so there are challenges from that aspect of it. But clearly we've been able to overcome a lot of them because attendance has continued to increase, even though this year was mostly steady.
Anything else?
I was going to say, it sounds like you may be able to tap into maybe Myrtle Beach coming on board soon.
Well, and also too, there's been rumors since this whole thing happened in 2020 that the Red Sox want to move one of their single A teams from down south to more up here somewhere. The original projection was always Lowell, but Lowell was never going to have a stadium ready for this league or for the minors, because they're even further behind than we are in a lot of ways. So to me, that kind of leaves two areas that unless another team moves or changes affiliation. So Brockton, Massachusetts has a stadium very similar to ours that also is in a tough location to be able to rebuild it. But that place and us, I think, would be the two most logical places to potentially have that Red Sox affiliate if they move. Now, obviously, those have always just been rumors. I don't know for sure, but you never know. Never say never.
There's one in what's the Paw Sox?
So that's the team that moved to Worcester.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
okay.
yeah,
The Woo Sox
Yeah.
now.
The Woo Sox?
Yeah, so they were the AAA affiliate in Pawtucket for 50 years or so.
That
and-
stadium's really old.
Yeah,
Oh, is it? Okay.
it's actually being torn down now, so which is unfortunate because
But the Paw Sox?
yeah.
I thought they already demoed.
No, it's not all gone yet, but it's getting there. But that would have been a great location for our league, even though that stadium is way too big. Our stadium's too big for our league, but that place held 10,000 plus people. That would have been tough for our league, but it would have been a great location because that's, we don't have a team in Rhode Island right now, so that would have been kind of cool. And but you never know. I mean, there's other places in Rhode Island that maybe could become teams in our league down the road. We've even talked to places outside of New England. So even though we're the Futures League of New England, we may ultimately be able to drop the New England piece of it by expanding outside of New England someday.
Well, if UConn can go to the Big 12, why not, right?
Yeah,
Thank God that's not happening.
You could be,
I know.
but it could be the Northeast or the
Yeah,
Eastern.
yeah, there's any number of things that could
Eastern
happen
U.S.,
there, yeah.
whatever,
We want to make sure that it can continue to be bus trips. Obviously, we don't want to fly anywhere, but when we go to Burlington, Vermont, it's a 4.5 hour bus ride. So we play back-to-back games up there usually, and we'll stay overnight. Whereas everywhere else in the league, we take a bus there and we come right back after the game. So
it's a long day.
It is, but it's what they're used to from college to a certain degree. They don't do a lot of hotel stays in college unless they're at the highest level, and even those are usually only over the weekend. And that's one thing we talked about with the schedule is maybe making more of a college type of schedule too, where maybe we play a 3-game series over a weekend against one particular team to give it that more college feel too. And then early in the week, we can play the one-offs type of stuff like that. But, even with that, like if I have a 3-game set with New Britain or Worcester or even Nashua, New Hampshire, I'm still not staying in a hotel overnight because that would totally blow my budget if I did that.
Yeah.
Sure.
And you're close enough. I mean, like Nashua, you're a couple hours away. It's not that bad.
Exactly.
Yeah. All right. Well, baseball once again at Dodd Stadium, 2025. So
looking forward to it.
We'll have you on again next month because I want to know. Is Kevin coming back? Or?
So Kevin is currently building the roster. We're still discussing.
Kevin's the field manager.
Okay.
So we're still discussing what the coaching staff is going to look like. He's going to be involved in some way, shape, or form, but we don't know exactly what that is yet because Kevin's full-time job at Amherst College is requiring him to recruit more and more, which means less time available for us during the summer. So right now the plan is to have him in the dugout, but we're still discussing what that's going to look like because a lot of our other coaches are moving on to other things too. So we may not have as many of those coaches back either. So we got time. He's building the roster, which is great for me, and we'll just see how it all lands.
All right. Well, we'll get updates from you as we go. Yep. So, all right, Lee. Thank you.
Awesome.
I appreciate you.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for having me on. Appreciate it. Thank you.
All right, Lee Walter from the Sea Unicorns, general manager, and it's good to know that we're having baseball once again.
Yes,
next year.
Definitely.
Yep.
Oh, yeah, I did have one more question.
Okay.
The ownership.
Yes.
Any possibility that they would be interested in buying the stadium from the town?
No.
Okay.
We're gonna make that one quick.
That was pretty definitive. Okay. Well, thanks. All right. We'll be back in a second. We're gonna finish it up with Wayne, and I think we'll keep Kathy here a little extra because Kathy shows up.
Came in 6 minutes late.
Yeah.
So
Got to make up that time.
Yeah, we will certainly do that. All right. Keep it right here, SNSN. Has arrived. They're your local auto super center. Put some excitement in your day and rent a Polaris Slingshot from Strain Family Motors, adjacent to the Green Onion Restaurant on River Road. Check out Strain Family Motors Super Center on Facebook as well as strainfamilymotors.com for everything sales, service, and excitement. River Road, Lisbon, Strain Family Motors, your local auto super center.
Better it burns. Much better School's back in session and it's time for a pop quiz. True or false? Insurance coverage is all the same and it doesn't matter where you buy it. False. True or false? The best kind of insurance is the cheapest you can find. False. True or false? Working with a local agent can help you navigate all your specific coverage needs while finding a competitive price for free. True. Don't let yourself fail when it comes to your insurance. Call, email, chat us online today. Our qualified staff can walk you through the process, find the coverage that's right for you, and the discounts you qualify for. The Burns Agency, proudly serving Eastern Connecticut since 1932.
Better it burns. Much better. So much better it burns. The right insurance at the right price. You buy better it burns. You buy better it burns. You buy better.
At Jewett City Savings Bank, we can make one choice easy, finding the right checking account. We offer a range of affordable accounts to fit your budget and needs, and each gives you the freedom to access your money the way you want, online, through our mobile app, or with your debit card. It's your money and your choice. To learn more about the account that's right for you, stop by one of our offices or visit us at jcsbank.com. Jewett City Savings.
Why are we getting killed like this?
Kyle's not here. Got caught drinking beer in the park a couple of nights ago.
Really?
Yeah, 0 tolerance. He's out for the season.
Harsh.
Hey, he knew not to drink. We've made that clear to all of our kids, right?
No, not really.
Bill, if we don't tell them what we expect and why they shouldn't drink, how are they gonna know?
Talk. They hear you. For more information, visit underagedrinking.samhsa.gov.
All right, here we are. We're back once again. It's always cool to have different people come up, into the show. Lee is real good, to us who talk baseball and stuff like that. But it's more so to me. It's more about what's going on in the community. In Norwich, what there is something to do.
Yep.
And all the things that they have available.
Mm-hmm.
Usually, and one of the things that we didn't get to is that during firework nights. It's not just fireworks. Usually they'll have a band or they'll have karaoke or they'll have other things that are going on that have nothing to do with the field. They're up in the concourse doing stuff. So there's always entertainment going on, for your $10, $12 that you pay to get in there.
Yeah.
Some days they don't even charge at all. Depending on, they have free baseball.
Yeah.
Well, I remember going to the games there with the kids many years ago. I wasn't a teenager.
Yeah.
But they used that one end down the left field line there. They had games and things the kids could play, something like that, and keep them busy.
It's good family fun because it's a lot of, when you have young kids, it's hard to find things to do as a family that's not going to cost an arm and a leg.
Yep.
And that's one of those things that you can do that's local. Kids will have fun. The parents can have fun. It's it's a safe place. It's entertaining. It's just one of those nice.
It's not a long ride.
Right.
It's easy to get in and out.
Yeah, it's affordable.
Yeah.
It's cool. And as I was saying, my daughter played softball for Norwich Little League at one point, and the Norwich Little League has their opening day at Dodd Stadium, and the kids, they just get so excited that they go down onto the field and they're in this big stadium. To them, it's like this huge thing. And they get so excited about having their opening day at Dodd Stadium, So there are other things that are going on there. It would be a shame if Norwich sold that or got rid of it or whatever. It would, because it's used for so many things other than just see unicorn games.
Exactly.
It's a community venue.
Well, I'm
so
sure
many
Norwich
things.
is feeling the same strain financially as we are. The smaller towns are feeling the strain. I'm sure the bigger cities are feeling it too.
After that last tax increase for them.
So it's I know
they increased it quite a bit.
But I don't know.
How much more can they go up in taxes in Norwich?
I don't know. My brother lives in Norwich, and his mortgage went up. I think almost $400, $500
a month.
A month.
Oh my God.
Wow.
A month. He was like, "Oh, this sucks."
That's a car payment.
It was. Yeah,
it's $5,000 a year.
Yeah, it went up a lot. It was very significant. Yeah.
Oh, Groton had a big one too.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think sometimes people in this town don't realize how good they freaking have it.
Yeah.
when it comes to that kind of stuff.
Yeah. When you compare surrounding, I mean, tax increases suck, but
Everybody's got their thing, right? Everybody's got their detraction stuff in town, but everybody has their promotional stuff that they can brag about. But when you talk about taxes and everything, what our mill rate is compared to a lot of our surrounding towns, Griswold and Plainfield, not so bad.
Lisbon, not that bad. You know, I mean, it's
the lower third, pretty much.
Yeah, you're right.
You're right.
So,
I don't think he knows what to do when I say he's right.
No.
Because he finally says I'm right.
I'm waiting for the other shoe to drop.
It's like a married couple. It's like a married
right.
couple. Like, what? Did you just say I was right? Can I get that on record?
No. I got nothing. No. I got nothing on you guys. But.
You listen to something. I don't know what the mill rate was in Norwich, but ours is 1.47 increase this year.
Yeah. There's
I don't know what theirs increase.
Ours is like what, 28?
It's around 28. Something like that. And there's, I don't know how much the mill rate went up this year, but going $400 a month, that had to be,
I'm seeing if my brother will text me.
8 or 9 mil, maybe.
I don't know what it was, but it had to have been. I mean, it was a lot. And I saw like all over the social media pages, all over the Norwich Facebook pages, people were like, "Are you kidding me? Like, what the hell?"
Yeah, well, Groton was the same way. I remember,
What about the car taxes? That's going to get affected as well.
Yep.
I mean, everything.
Yeah.
Yep.
Absolutely. So, and people on fixed incomes, they get something like that really, really hits them hard. So.
Yep. Unfortunately, I mean,
especially the people who have been retired for probably 10, 15 years already. Because most of their pay is fixed from the time they retire.
Yeah,
so.
I'm wondering if there have been some significant for sale signs going up in Norwich lately. I would imagine, I mean, not many people, although then you turn around, you try to sell your house and you got to pay that much more to buy another one. I mean, so you're kind of screwed one way or the other.
That's gotta be another reation as well, that way people look at like Griswold and Plainfield because of the tax rate here.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure that's part of it.
Yeah, I think it's only gone up like 5 mils in the last decade or 15 years. It was like 23 last time.
The last 4 years, it's gone up about 1.8
total.
mil, somewhere around there.
Because it was 0 for a couple of years, and then went up like half, I think, at one point. Like, I mean,
a couple of flat years.
Yeah, definitely during COVID and all that.
So the last 4 years, you've seen less than 2 mil increase. That's pretty damn good.
Yeah. Well, it's, I mean, good in one aspect, but
look at the amount of the
another.
increase that we've had in just here alone, and what have we been able to also get? Infrastructure is going in, which is going to help in the future, as far as our tax base, because it's going to enable more businesses, commercial development out there. Not Heritage River, but I mean,
we'll see.
Yeah. But this is going to be commercial development out there, because there will be infrastructure. The only reason why is because there was no infrastructure there.
Yeah, we can't fill the whole thing up with affordable housing. We got to have some kind of commercial stuff out there. I mean, I don't have a problem with the Heritage River thing going on, but the rest of it's got to be utilized to bring in more revenue, because even Heritage River is talking about tax abatements. They mentioned that the last meeting they had.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's not going to help the town out the first few years. It'll start getting better as time goes on, but
yeah, I mean, Heritage River, and I know and stuff, that's a totally different conversation altogether. What's going to happen with that.
We need commercial.
Yeah.
We need commercial. And we don't have a lot of commercial space available.
Football.
So,
I mean, these are amenities that we've been able to grow.
Oh my God, the football game
senior
last
center.
week.
Senior center.
Senior center.
I mean, we have like the Taj Mahal of senior centers in this region.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
Willimantic at Wyndham has a huge one too.
What Willimantic does,
center.
do they?
The football field. Then you got the new Sewell Street School Academy. There that nobody paid a dime for that out of this town. That was all grant money. So. And that looks, I don't know if anybody's been inside, took a tour, but it's nice and it's safe for the kids. And
I haven't been in there since it's become that.
It's pretty nice.
Actually, I think today's the ribbon cutting.
Is it today? Yeah, it is today. The ribbon cutting to open the school.
I thought it was already open.
It's open.
It is open. It was open last November.
Yeah. Right
Something
around
like
Thanksgiving, December.
Yeah, but the actual ribbon cutting's today. I think they were waiting for a sign or something like that.
They were in for like the final little touches, to finish it off.
Sure.
Yeah, that's today.
So as much as we bitch and moan, about Griswold and or Jewett City, think about it compared to towns around us.
Yeah, people are gonna bitch, So my brother said Norwich mill rate's 42.
How much did it go up the last year? Did you say?
I didn't know. I just asked him what's your mill rate.
Yeah,
All right.
it's high.
It's high. It's definitely high.
That had to.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And then in Jewett City, the mighty borough.
Yeah.
JCDPU. I love you.
Yeah, we don't have to deal with Eversource.
Well,
it's kind of
nice. But you got to deal with another problem.
Yeah, we do.
We got a problem you got to deal with.
We do. So. We have the sewer.
And really,
but that's okay. It's
164 has a lot to do with that being successful too.
Yeah.
I love you. That was tagged.
And it's nice too when we have.
My wife was complaining about
the fix it right away.
That fee for the benefits. The
Eversource.
The Eversource.
Public
benefits fee.
Yeah.
It was like, oh my god.
Yeah, that's
ridiculous.
Lot. Yeah.
And then you got the car charging station fee they want to throw on top of that.
Oh my god.
So, and nobody wants to have a session until January or February. It's like by then it's going to be pretty much. It's supposed to be like a 10-month clock or something like that. By then it's going to be 8 months. So
I don't know.
I was gonna say I'm thankful for JCDPU because we don't have to deal with that.
JCD, I love you.
Good.
Norwich also has their own utilities, so they have that as well. But
I'm a mile away, or not even a mile away from that.
Justin says the mill rate is 32
in Norwich,
and it went down from last year.
Oh, it did not go down. Okay. Norwich did not go down. Definitely didn't go down. Yeah, everybody was complaining about that. Yeah. It definitely went up. The taxes there have increased significantly.
Well, you got to remember they have. Do they have some paid firemen? They also have a police department.
They have a police department.
Do they have a fire district tax? In
I don't remember. I used to live there. I don't remember. I don't know. But they do have a paid fire. They have one paid fire department and then several volunteer fire departments. They do have a police department. So they have some other things.
But they've also got a lot more industry and stuff in there too.
They do. You were asking earlier. What else does Norwich have beside the stadium? And you don't really think about it, but Norwich actually has a lot. I just think they are shit at marketing all of it. Yeah. They have a golf course.
Yeah, they got a golf
course. They
have
an ice rink for hockey right next to the golf course.
Which is now privately owned. It's not.
But still, I mean, it's in. But I mean, they have these things in. I mean, they have the stadium. They have a marina that's now being upgraded and worked on and improved. I mean, there's actually quite a bit in Norwich.
They got some nice breweries, Mike.
They do have some nice breweries.
They got a dog park.
They have a dog park. Yep. I mean, there really is quite a bit. They have Mohegan Park. I mean, they have a beautiful park to walk around. Yeah. I mean, they do have a lot there.
People are buried there.
Yeah.
I'm not saying there's nothing in Norwich.
Well, it's just people don't think about it, because you think it's Norwich, but I mean, I think if they had
the crime
somebody,
rate's been very high in Norwich too.
It has been.
They've hit a new personal best this year.
I have to say though, growing up in Norwich, I don't think it's really much different than it was when I grew up there. And I grew up in a pretty rough section back then, and it was pretty rough back then. But I mean, Norwich has never been that great as far as crime. I mean, there's always been some sketchy stuff going on. But I mean, if they had someone that knew how to market things properly, Norwich could be a gold mine if they cleaned it up and marketed it properly. Norwich has a lot going on. They have a nice little downtown. If you got shops and stuff in there that, I mean, it could really become something, but they
went to the brewery where Scott Fryer was doing his veterans fundraiser thing.
Mm-hmm. Oh, down at Epicure.
Yeah, Epicure. Yep. And it's nice, and like that. They got another one next door or something like that. It's like, I don't know if I want to go down there at like 10 o'clock at night or 9 o'clock at night. That's the kind of area that it's in. But
I
go
don't
there
think
and
it's that
daylight.
bad. It's not as bad as you think it is. That
it's
area,
downtown
yeah.
Norwich. I mean, for the most part, people, I mean, they just leave you alone. You just have to, you kind of have to just watch, when you're
Yeah.
walking. I mean, just like anywhere.
We used to go
guess,
there all the
but
time for the movie
Yeah.
theaters, the 2 movie theaters that were down there
That was
in
near
Norwich town.
Yeah.
There were 2.
There were one in like the old Ames Plaza. Is that the one you're talking about?
Well, there was one there too.
Okay.
But no, I'm talking about downtown.
Oh, there was
like Franklin Square area.
Oh, yes.
And it was kind of like on a side street. Both of them, they were like a street away.
I forgot about
Yeah.
those. Yeah.
And my dad used to take me there to movies all the time.
Yep.
And then you would park in kind of a seedy area.
Yeah.
But it was
it was Norwich. I
Yeah.
mean, that's-
Yeah.
so
Yeah. It's really too bad. I mean, they do have a lot to offer, but they need someone in there that'll help.
and then they're
market
back
all
in
of
the
it.
day, not like it is today. They have a little bit of it now, but the Rhodes Arts Festival
Yeah.
was a huge thing in
Yep.
Norwich
Yeah.
that people look forward to.
Yeah. Yeah. I think they had something like that this past year, or
They,
maybe
every year
last
they've
year.
been doing a little something.
I think they're
but
trying to like build it back up. And same thing with like, what's that Greek? There's like a Greek church and they do like a
food
Greek,
festival.
yeah, the food
Yeah,
festival and things like that.
on the west side.
Yep. Sometimes they do or they used to, now that I
They
think
do a
about it,
Italian
Taste of
food.
Italy. Yeah.
Yep, they do a Polish one.
Yep. Yeah. So, I mean, there really is quite a bit there. People just don't think about it.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, it's.
Wayne could show up and do public readings.
Yeah, he could. Yeah.
Talk about Trump assassination.
Totally.
There'll be another one next week.
That guy has got 9 lives. Let me just say,
Wayne?
No,
Oh,
Trump.
oh,
Lucky.
He's.
I
I mean,
been lucky.
Jesus. Yeah.
I said to Wayne before you got here, which always happens. I said someone's going to get him.
At some point,
I mean,
it's too bad,
just-
but it's.
yeah. I mean, he's still a human being.
Yeah.
I mean, whether you like him or you don't.
Yeah. I mean, if I was him, I'd be terrified. I mean, Jesus, I mean, if I had people shooting at me, I can't say I'd be
he's
out
like
there in
NWA
public.
Flavor Flav,
I
fight the power, man. And he's
I
out there,
don't
you know.
I don't know if that's just complete craziness that he's just out there like, yeah, whatever, or if he's just got balls that big. I don't know. I don't know which
we're
it is.
talking about a guy that goes on a national political debate and says they're eating the dogs. That is on every
it's everywhere.
every other social media post.
It's
they're
everywhere.
eating the cats.
Yeah, and then they show pictures of the dogs with their eyes like,
Yeah,
Memes, memes.
It's
Yeah.
crazy.
It's funny.
I posted a video to the Mission Impossible theme with cats going crazy. They're eating the dogs. Stupid.
That was pretty funny.
Oh, God. All right, tomorrow we're taking a break. It's Wednesday, of course. So we'll see you Thursday. We don't know yet. The psychics might be here.
Okay.
Or they might not.
Or they might not. Just it's going to depend on Lisa. And if there isn't, then if there are no psychics, we will have Scott Davis. Who will try to be psychic.
Let Lisa stay home, relax. Let her nerve.
Wayne goes, let's bring on the political shit. That's what I want.
Talk
Politics.
See what's going on. He's probably getting all set and psyched up for the finance portion of the year.
No, nothing's going
get
on.
ready for the
I
budget.
know, yeah, it's been on, yeah.
I don't
Get
think
ready
there's
for
really
the budget.
much at this point. There was like one thing that what was it? The safety glass? Is that what
the safety glass?
The safety glass for
thing,
the tax collector, like that
Yeah.
area, the town hall.
Yeah.
I think that's all that's really, as far as I know, I think that's all that's really going on with the Board of Finance. I mean, I'm sure there's stuff behind the scenes, that
they bring the meeting to
dealing with.
order. Got anything? Nope. Motion to adjourn.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah. I think there's some work going on behind the scenes, maybe like in
Always
preparation for next budget cycle. I mean, right after this last budget cycle ended, there was already discussions about, how to improve things for next budget cycle and that sort of thing.
They've got their subcommittees too. They got the subcommittee with the fire department. They got subcommittee with the youth and rec, their budgets and stuff like that.
Yeah, so there's definitely stuff going on, but nothing really like earth shattering, that I know of.
Well, there's
that they can
subcommittee
talk
for
about.
Parks and Rec don't really have anything to do with what we do on Parks.
No,
to
they
be honest
basically
with
working
you.
with Ryan on his
I-
budgets. And
I
stuff
think
like
they were
that.
just
yeah.
talking about like the
Yeah.
budgets and how it's
They're trying to understand the budget portion of the fire department and youth and rec.
Got it.
and that was based on last budget cycle. So, but yeah, I think that's it.
It'll be interesting to see what happens with 164.
Yeah,
So
Gotcha.
they're still
Why is
putting
that
pipes
funny?
down there, right?
there's some issues with the power going down there.
Oh.
They
But
gotta-
why is
they
that
gotta
funny?
They got to define it. Well, it's not funny. It's a big question of how much power they actually need to support Heritage River and what they actually need to put down there, because what they want to put down there, which I haven't heard a quote from, to send 208 down, which is single phase, or 3-phase, depending on the loading. So they're going to go 3-phase, which is what they ought to do, to make sure they have enough size cable going down there, and whatever they got to upgrade the transformers or whatever they got to do.
That sounds
The
expensive.
other thing is you got to do some charging stations down there for EV vehicles that were never thought of, because that's part of the new statute for new developments.
So they'd have to
and things
put
like
almost 30 in there.
that. Yeah, at least 30. If there's 500 parking spaces, it's 10%. So that's 50.
Oh, so they'd have to have 50.
So if it's 300 parking
That's
spaces,
some bullshit right there.
That is
and
bullshit.
And that's a state thing.
Yeah. I forgot about that. Oh my God.
So that's
The
I don't-
power to power 50 stations plus all the regular power.
plus the homes and everything
Right.
else. Yeah. So
Oh,
I
that just
believe
sounds
the numbers that were
expensive.
given to Eversource, they believe that the single phase would be enough, but with this extra numbers and stuff like that, they would probably have to run 3-phase, which was not in the budget.
And not only that, you don't really want to plan for what you need now. You want to plan for what you might need 10, 20 years
Yeah.
from now. So you're probably going to have to go with the bigger,
Right.
because I mean, what if in 20 years, maybe EVs are a thing and everybody's driving them? You're going to need that power.
Well,
So,
in 10 years.
Right.
In
You
10
might
years,
as
it's going to be a
well.
requirement. Everybody's going to have to drive
I
electric
thought they
vehicles.
dialed that back.
A lot of the manufacturers, some of the manufacturers are not producing them like
Yeah.
they were because the demand was so
They're
low.
too expensive.
Yeah.
The government's paying Ford to make them, even though Ford's losing money.
I thought I had heard Ford stopped making them,
Well,
or was
no,
not,
they
or had.
they were still
cut
making
down.
them, but they are losing money, and the government's like subsidizing, I believe, that issue. But
Yeah, that's a
so
lot
yeah,
of money.
if by 2035, if we're all driving around electric vehicles, where that power is going to come from?
Yeah.
That's not just Heritage River; that's everywhere.
Right.
Yeah,
I don't have anything against electric cars, but they're so expensive.
yeah, yep.
And you have to stop, even more so than
Yeah.
gasoline,
Mhm.
to recharge.
Yeah.
And it takes a while for that to happen.
I
Do
don't
they
think you should be
charge-
forcing anybody to drive what they want to drive.
Do
but
they? I don't know.
hybrids would be the way to go. That's the way I would.
I don't know much about the EVs, but when they charge, when they're on a charge, do they have to pay like a tax like we do with the gas tax? Like, is there like a charge tax that goes?
I don't really know.
I think
'Cause
it was
you know-
Florida that started a once a year charge for EV owners to make up for the gas tax
Oh, that's what I'm kind of
issue
thinking
for the
of,
road
yeah.
repairs and stuff, because the states are figuring out, hey, they're losing a certain amount of money
Right.
because that they need to maintain the highways and the state roads and things like that. So they calculated some kind of a once a year fee
Okay.
to
Yeah.
electric vehicle owners. I don't know how much it is, but
But it just
You know.
seems like they would, how they tack on whatever the tax is to our gallon per
Right,
gallon
right,
of gas. Like if it was like
we have some of the highest.
Per-
we have this like
of
one of the
course.
highest gas taxes in.
so
the
I'm surprised they're
country.
doing
But-
that, because I would think they would just increase the gas tax to penalize the people driving gas vehicles.
well,
You know what? I wonder if that would happen.
Yeah.
I wonder if it already has been happening.
probably
but
has.
it would make sense, right? That they would maybe tax like, per, I don't know, kilowatt or whatever it is. But,
They're
while
gonna
you're
they're gonna figure
charging-
out. Believe me,
I'm
they're not
sure.
gonna lose.
Right. Yeah.
It's like casinos. They don't
Yeah,
lose, right?
Yep.
All right,
Mhm.
Wayne. Thank you very much, Kathy. Thank
Yep.
you for coming on by, and we'll.
Anytime.
So we may have Psychic Thursday. We may not. We'll find out.
See, if we were psychic,
Okay.
we would know.
No, you're not psychic,
I'm not even a Swami anymore. There you go.
Uh-oh.
which has pissed a
They
lot of
kicked to the
people
curb.
off.
Oh, yeah.
But Wayne, no, not just me. I'm just doing it because there are people going, "What's," but
Well, he's still going to be here. Still going to be reading cards. Right? Well, actually,
They
not
want
during,
me to put
not
on.
during
They want me to put on
October.
a silly turban. That's what it is, so they can
Oh,
laugh.
gotcha,
Get
gotcha.
a
It's
laugh
not
out of
even
it.
that. It's the character.
Yeah.
It's
character.
the character.
Yeah.
He's a
You know.
character.
He's a conceited ego.
But
An
I
idiot.
don't want to do it anymore.
You can do it.
Yeah.
No, I can't. You can't. You know.
All right.